So we got involved in the club after the club had had a season basically away from Lowfields. The club had played at Baseford for a season and the club was about to die. And so our aim was to try to find a home back in Newark for this historic Newark club.
And it's not just a football club, although that's obviously why we're here today, and that's what we've got now. It was a sports community hub in the past, far more than just football. And actually taking that away from the community was really important for us to bring it back, because being outside the town, outside its home, meant that it was losing its feel, its community, and its identity.
The early 1900s, Worthington Simpsons. I don't really know the exact start of the history, but to me they were a pumps works side, manufacturing pumps, especially throughout the war effort. And like many works of that era, there was a football team, and it was a very, very good football team. There's some household names in there like Donny H, who have a real good history of football in Newark at that time. They were one of the top teams in the Midlands. It's often thought that if that particular side was playing currently today, they would be probably competing at step 3, if not step 2. They were that good. The club blossomed after a little bit of a downfall after that era, where the club, under the name of IDP initially, they changed the name due to the factory Worthington Simpson selling out to Ingersoll Dresser Pumps, an American company, and then subsequently they became Newark Flowserve, as the company was sold yet again to become Flowserve. History will tell that we got booted off the Lowfield site, possibly to an underhand deal, nobody will really know. But then we started our travels. We had a season at Baseford, 2 seasons at Collingham, and now we're just completing 2 seasons at Harrowby. We are obviously very, very grateful for those clubs for keeping the club alive. Without their help, I'm sure the club would have folded. So what the future holds remains to be seen. But as I say, you've got 120, 130 years of history, and we do owe it to the former committees, the players, through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s to try and keep the club going. And we've done our best over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and hopefully we can keep some form of the club going in the future.
There's a lot of fans used to go down Lowfields. Used to attract like 700 some games, probably maybe a bit more, but yeah, Lowfields was a good like centre of football in it, wasn't it? Especially for Saturdays.
Yeah, that was the only club on a Saturday at the time, so obviously
the
whole of Newark went, and obviously with being local, you could get a lot more fans down. And they were decent, they had some good results.
Yeah.
Players like Meds and that carried them really. Obviously it's not ideal, the fans trekking out to Grantham and Collingham before that, so I think to build an atmosphere and to be successful, you need your home ground really.
Yeah, especially with another club in Newark now, innit?
Yeah.
But obviously the fans aren't going to want to travel out here.
It makes sense to go to Newark Town, as harsh as it sounds, so you can't blame them for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of travelling in it, but
hopefully one day.
And Newark as a town, you know, is a footballing town, and it has no clubs within the town that own their own facilities. If you go to Worksop Town are playing at Step 2. Worksop Town have got a fantastic stadium with 800 to 1,000 people attending matches. You've got Gainsborough, you've got Grantham, you've got Retford. All those towns have got grounds that are owned and run by community football clubs. And Newark, none of the teams in Newark are playing on community football grounds on their own.
No, absolutely.
And that's what our aim is to try to take this club back into Newark and gradually build a new home for it.
Yeah, and a community, that community feel as well.
And it's the community that builds the home.
Football at this level is run by volunteers. We're custodians for the moment, but actually it's the volunteers who've been here for years who are actually the lifeblood of the club. And being away from Newark makes it harder and harder for volunteers to actually work with the club. So being back in the town, back in its community is really important.
So we as a business, I suppose we've kind of built on sustainability out of what we do. So we're much more of as an IT company. We like to repair equipment, things like that, instead of just chucking it away, replacing it with new when not necessarily that's always needed. So the environment, massive thing for us. We've been focusing on things like recycling for years and years, recycling everything that we do as best we can, instead of just chucking all it in landfill. Even like the computers that we get in, we try to recycle that as much as possible and put it towards different agencies and different companies that can reuse stuff that a lot of other people would just chuck away. So yeah, the fact that Newark and Sherwood, it's kind of built on sustainability, and they've done a lot of things differently than other clubs. So yeah, it's nice to align with that. To not have Newark and Sherwood actually playing in Newark is a massive thing. It's kind of we're always playing away at someone else's ground, like today, playing against Grantham. We're actually in Grantham, but this is our home game. So people, what are we, 30-40 minutes away from Newark. It's quite a bit of a trek really for a lot of people, maybe especially people that don't drive or anything like that. And to have a ground on the doorstep. When I grew up in Lincoln, and we've just got the Sinsel Bank quite close to us, and we could just go out on the weekend and watch football. And yeah, it's great, whereas we didn't have to travel far away just to go and watch our own team play. So yeah, it'd be much better if it was in Newark.
Got two real key focuses within the Sport Club plan. The first one is increasing biodiversity across our campus, but also reducing our carbon impact. So we love what the club are trying to do here. We love the values that the club are driving, the fact that they're trying to make the club fully sustainable and engaging with B Corp companies really speaks to us as an organisation, and that's why we're really keen to partner up with Newark and Sherwood United Football Club.
I think what Newark and Sherwood United are trying to do is bring about a community of people, a community of partners, a community of fans, a community of players and coaches and volunteers to come together to create something that's sustainable across all the criteria. And I think being embedded within the community is the vital thing. Sport, football is the heart of our community, and that's why we like it.
So what we've been trying to do with the club is do something different, because you also need a commercial arm to a football club. You need sponsors, you need businesses to get behind the club. And so one of the things we've done is we've created this fantastic shirt with 2,500 businesses across the shirt who are all B Corps. And B Corps are businesses across the UK that are not just focused on making a profit, but are focused on people, planet and profit. And those businesses range in size from small 2 or 3 person businesses to multi-million pound businesses, and they're all on our football shirt. So we've got now a really good sponsorship and commercial basis to take this club forward. But without a ground, we can't do that.